SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort. This show was previously recorded.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Happy New Year's Eve, Tuesday, December 30th, almost at the end of what has been a great 2025, and we are glad that you guys are with us. Sports Talk Mississippi, Michael Borky and Robbie Falk again sitting in for Hey Dad, and we are glad that you guys are with us. We actually have a little bit of basketball to get to. Neither game was particularly exciting, but they happened, so we'll talk about them briefly. You also had Sugar Bowl Media Day. You'll hear from Pete Golding. And also I did a one-on-one with Brooks Austin, who covers Georgia but also does film breakdowns across college football. If I can find a certain phrase that he said that I need to get rid of, once I get rid of that, if I can, it's a great interview. It's long and detailed, and I'll bring you, not the entire thing because it's 30 full minutes of football talk, but again, I need to find the phrase. And once I get rid of it, then you'll hear from him.
Got to bleep it out
as well. So glad you guys are with us. We got a lot to get to on this Tuesday. Don't forget to text the show on the C-Spire text line 601-879-4395, and we're in the Pearl River Resort studio. Hey, if you're not going to the Sugar Bowl and you are looking for a place to watch some college football this week, go to the Pearl River Resort. They have the sports book at the Timeout Lounge, great restaurants, bar scene there as well, all the table games that you want, and also a lot of ways to relax there as well. Check them out, pearlriverresort.com. That's the website, Pearl River Resort. Again, if you are not going, you should still go and have some fun, even if it's not in the Big Easy.
Yes. I love the Pearl River Resort, by the way.
It's a great place.
It really is. It's amazing what they've done over there. Louisville, my hometown, now has at least a little bit of the Pearl River Resort right there in Winston County. It's kind of like a travel center, gas station, but it's really nice. They have a nice restaurant in there. They have a bunch of slot machines and things like that. It's kind of crazy, but it's cool too. It's like Mississippi personified.
Yeah. They have said that when Alabama plays at Mississippi State, by the way, a lot of Alabama fans find their way.
Oh, I'm sure.
Find their way there, yeah.
I'm sure. They probably hang out there, several of them have a cigarette burned all the way down to the filter with the ash just hanging on for dear life. Yeah, I know a few of those. They're probably mostly from Mississippi, too, unfortunately.
Oh, I've got a neighbor. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I am looking for neighborhood friends. And what I've noticed, my neighborhood skews very old or brand new family with teeny tiny little babies.
And chickens.
Yep. Shout out Jonathan. That's definitely his name. For sure is Jonathan, even though, anyway, never mind. But I'm trying to find neighborhood friends. I want somebody that also has a 6-year-old like we do, and like that they can play together and that kind of stuff. But again, mostly old or really young new family and very little in between. And I was walking Maverick, may he rest in peace, a few months ago, and new guy moved in down the street to the right, and he looks like he's about my age, and I'm walking, and he puts up an Alabama flag. And I think, okay, here's a perfect opportunity. Sports fan. I'm a sports fan. He's about my age. There's clearly a woman's car in the driveway. So, like, hey, I can have a neighborhood friend. And I said hello, and he came over to talk, just like, hey, new neighbor, how are you? And I said, you're an Alabama fan. Did you go there? He goes, no. And that doesn't bother me. You don't have to be a fan. You don't have to go to a school to be a fan of the school. But I was like, so like, how did you become an Alabama fan? And his response to me was, well, they're just good. So I just started liking them.
I can appreciate that, actually. If you just come out and say you jumped on the bandwagon because they were winning, perfectly fine with that.
I stopped being his friend, though.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. We are not neighborhood friends.
No, you can respect that, but you can't be a part of that anymore.
He took the flag down the day they lost to Florida State. So
he was done.
He was done. And
that's one of the things we talked about with Alabama is like, and it's kind of where the topic came up about, does Kalen DeBoer just go ahead and go to like Michigan or Penn State or whatever? Which, I mean, you can argue their fan bases are bad too, but the Alabama fan base is rough. Like it's really rough because all they have ever known is winning. Most of them. Especially these new fans that jumped on with Nick Saban, they weren't there for the Dubose or the Shula, all that. They just watched national championships, and if they didn't win the national championship, is Coach Saban, is he over the hill? Is he going to be able to keep coaching us? He didn't win a national title this year, and that's Alabama fans.
Mm-hmm.
So
don't worry, the flag's back up though.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Oh, it's back up.
Back in the playoff, he's locked and loaded now.
Yeah, and also his wife doesn't wave. He waves, his wife doesn't wave. So, like, definitely not neighbor friends.
Yeah, that's not going to work. If you can't even acknowledge a person and like give them just the friendly head nod, I don't know if this is going to work.
I'm a neighborhood waver. If you are a car driving in my neighborhood, my hand is up. I'm saying hello.
Yep.
Every single car, does not matter. That's what happens. A good friend of mine met a girl in college from Indiana, and he went to visit her, just summer break or whatever, went to go meet her family and all that stuff. And she hated driving, so he was driving, they were going to eat or whatever, but leaving her neighborhood, and there's a few people walking, and he waves to each one as he's driving out of her neighborhood. She finally goes, Pat, what are you doing? He's like, what do you mean, what am I doing? She's like, why are you waving? You don't know those people. He was like, you don't wave to your neighbor? She's like, no, we don't do that here. Stop doing, like, she was like annoyed by him. She was like, stop doing that. We don't do that.
Yeah, it's just
like I never live in that place.
In Mississippi, it's like breathing. I'm required to breathe. I'm also required to wave at people when I'm walking down the street or passing them with the car. Even if it's the simple, like, you got your hand on the wheel and you give them the finger, the index finger, not the middle one. Just the typical, just like, hey, how you doing? Yes. You got to do it. I mean, it's just part of the deal.
And I immediately judge. See, this is probably the wrong way to approach it because hospitality means you're hospitable no matter what. But I immediately judge the non-waiver. If we're walking in the neighborhood or we're playing in the front yard and a car drives by and they do not wave, I'm like, something's wrong. Something's wrong with that person right there.
That's a terrible person. Yeah, because even whenever we're judging someone or we're actually being kind of mean, we're being nice.
Yeah.
That's where the whole bless your heart thing comes from. Yes. It's actually, bless their heart. They're really struggling. That person's got some big time issues. Bless their heart. Like you're just driving someone into the ground, but you're saying bless your heart, so it makes everything better. That's the Mississippi way.
That is the Mississippi way. Langston says, you just described my neighborhood. I even have a non-waiver too. Ticks me off. I mean, it makes me wonder. And then we're just, it's December 30th. We got a lot of football to get to, I promise. Also, Pete Golding spoke to the media. We've got that coming your way as well.
By the way, that's probably another interview as this thing goes on. You're probably going to have to go in and clip some words, just like the one you're trying to do with Brooks Austin.
He's been a little bit more buttoned up lately, but sometimes it cracks me up. The coaches show before the Tulane game, we were in Oxford for the show. I'm driving back. I went ahead and put it on, and he sat next to David Kellum. Kellum's all. I would be shocked if David Kellum has ever said an inappropriate word, even borderline for like a first grader, on the radio. Like, I'd be shocked beyond measure if he's ever crossed that line. And Pete's kind of letting it fly a little bit. He's talking about busting their you-know-what, and we don't give a you-know-what on the coach's show, sitting on the square. It was, he's football guy, for sure.
We experienced that with Zach Arnett. He dropped 2 F-bombs within the first, 3 weeks of being the head coach. And immediately knew he said it. Was like, oh, sorry. Didn't mean to.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a level of decorum, I guess. But he's gotten better. He's more polished in the right settings. You don't want to change him completely, but I do think he's dialed down the
when you start changing them, then you start looking. Zach Arnett really got uncomfortable after a while when he was having to watch everything he was saying. You want Pete Golding to speak his mind. You want him to be whatever's coming in that head, let it fly, but just not the 4-letter words.
Definitely not. Now, it was media day, and unfortunately, because of the situation that Ole Miss was put in by Lane Kiffin, it wasn't just about that today. There were a lot of questions of players about him, and players gave some answers, and Ross Dellinger put out a story today. He's got some stuff that people haven't said publicly until he put it out there, and we'll talk about it when we come back. It's very well reported. There's a lot of anecdotes in that story, though, that make some conversations that we had age really well about assistants and things like that. We'll give you the details, and we'll talk about that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
This show was previously recorded.
And now we have a special surprise for everyone.
Give it to me. More Sports Talk Mississippi right now on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi, 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. It was Sugar Bowl Media Day. Ross Dellinger puts out a really well-reported, long, detailed story involving Lane Kiffin, Jeff Landry, the governor of Louisiana, and their plans for Thursday. You guys are going to love their plans for Thursday. And more importantly, on-record quotes and also some off-record anecdotes, reported anecdotes, by the way, about how the whole LSU assistant still coaching Ole Miss but working for LSU thing has gone. So here's some stuff from this story. You can read the whole thing at Yahoo. It's excellently reported. Ross, obviously busy working today. Hopefully he'll give us some time tomorrow, if not after the Sugar Bowl, just to talk about the game and stuff like that as well. Because, friend of the show does a really good job. For part one, Lane Kiffin may attend the Sugar Bowl along with someone else. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry reached on Tuesday. Officials at LSU and those with Landry did not dispute that the duo is at least considering attending the game, and security plans are being made for their arrival.
Why?
Oh, you know why. Because those two people, more than any other people in the world, are just crave attention. That's why.
I mean, that's just insane.
It's attention. Get it off of them, get it on me. Get it off of them, get it on me. That's what that is for. And if he's up in a box somewhere with the governor of Louisiana, if you guys aren't going to the game, I would just prepare yourself for him to get some airtime on the broadcast as well in the booth. I would prepare for that.
Yeah. And a camera on the box.
Oh, yeah.
That'll happen. They'll try to get him in there with whoever's on the call. I mean, my Lord. So, and if we're doing that, we can't, from the LSU side of things, we can't say, I would rather Lane, he left the bowl game early, I'd rather him go back to work and get hard on the grindstone. That's not what he was doing when he left the bowl game early. So we can't say like Lane was just he's just going back to work, he's getting started on the portal and all that stuff. When he's going to the Sugar Bowl, to watch his former team because he wants attention. I don't think those two things are compatible.
If you're ESPN, do you put him on? You give him a mic? You let him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's ridiculous, but if I'm ESPN, I'm absolutely doing it. Ratings, more eyeballs. Somebody says we got Lane Kiffin coming up. He's coming up after the break. He's going to be on ESPN. Everybody's flipping to that channel. If they're not already watching,
probably
it.
already be there. But.
Yeah, they're probably already watching anyways. But it's drawing every eyeball to that because this is at this point this is Big Brother. The Challenge, or what are some of those MTV shows, the reality TV shows? That's basically what this is right now. The Sister Wives, like that's what Lane Kiffin has created in college football,
and he thrives in it. And so that's the part of the story. That's like the Ross used it kind of in the lead and stuff. That to me is not the story here. That's just like, of course. Of course, the two of them are going to that game together. He's a Muppets character, the governor of Louisiana. There's no way that's a real person, right?
No,
he's a fake person.
It is created Cajun governor, pretty much. They just like that. If they said this is the kind of person we expect to be the Louisiana governor, it's Jeff Landry.
He's the kind of guy that some movie would cast as the governor of Louisiana to make fun of Louisiana.
Yeah, it almost seems
he's a cartoon character. Yeah. But yes, so that's not what I mean.
And by the way, you remember when all this stuff came out and we talked about there is no way Lane Kiffin's signing up for this. They have completely botched this search because this man is involved in it. And now we have these two going hand in hand with each other to the Sugar Bowl to watch Ole Miss as the LSU head coach and the Louisiana governor.
Oh, just wait until it's campaign.
Oh my God,
season. But that's an attention move. That's not the story to me. This is where it gets a little bit more juicy, or worse. Back to the story. Think of the 6 future LSU assistant coaches at Media Day as the last and final remnants of the Kiffin era at Ole Miss, a tenure that came to a fiery end a month ago when he fled for Baton Rouge, taking with him those coaches before agreeing to permit to let them remain in Oxford to complete, parentheses, maybe, parentheses, this playoff run. We'll get back to that maybe here in a little bit. He says this, of course, is not without controversy. There is a poorly kept secret here. Many around the Ole Miss program contend that tampering is afoot, even from within their own walls. I told you last week that somebody on the other side, so not the coach's side, but the player's side, that would know, told me that Ole Miss's players are getting tampered with, he said, quote, literally all day. And that is, of course, coming from other schools, but more specifically the one that their coaches are coaching for now, but also them. Here's a quote, though, from Walker Jones, the head of the Grove Collective. It's unfortunate what's been going on with our players and their former head coach and staff. He continues, having to deal with the pressure of making future decisions while trying to prepare for a playoff run is not a sustainable model. Yes, does a bad calendar and lack of true oversight hurt? Of course. But so does poor character and lack of respect for your former employer and players. That being said, we are prepared and effectively dealing with this first of its kind complicated situation. End quote. I am so happy. And there's more in this story that we'll get to that confirms what we've been talking about for weeks on this, that somebody is finally going on record talking about, hey, guys, this isn't normal. The spin, and I'm glad I didn't fall for it, and we didn't fall for it on this show. They're all professionals. They're all there's gonna be checks and balances, and nothing's gonna and they're all professional. All they care about is winning, and they're gonna do their jobs with integrity. But everybody that said that publicly, privately, behind the scenes, was talking about how bad it is. And so I'm glad now, and kudos to Walker Jones for putting a name on a quote where it's like, this is bad. Like, you should have expected tampering, of course, because that's college football. But the people that you welcomed back into your building are doing it. And somebody finally on record is saying that it's about time, because people have been privately talking about this for weeks, and it's terrible, and this and all these rumors and stuff that nobody was willing to talk about because everybody had to tell you how on the up and up everything was. Clearly, it's not, and it's nice to see somebody finally admit that.
Well, this is what you signed up for.
It's what you signed up for.
When you as Ole Miss, when you said we are going to make sure that the committee puts us in as a host, and we host that first round, and you kept the offensive coaches in the building, those coaches are extremely close to Lane Kiffin. We know what Lane Kiffin's intentions are. We know that he wants players like Kejuan Lacey. We know that he wants players like Trinidad Chambliss. There are players all over that roster that Lane Kiffin and those coaches want to follow them to Ole Miss. And there are players on that roster to LSU. There are players on that roster that will probably do that because of that reason. The relationships that they've built with those coaches, a lot of them came to Ole Miss because of those coaches. That's going to happen. And when you decided that you were going to do whatever it takes to host a home playoff game, this is what you signed up for. Like it or not, this is what you signed up for.
Yeah,
Charlie Weiss is going to be in that building. Kevin Smith's going to be in that building. All these coaches that planned on going with Lane Kiffin to LSU, you talked about like they just want to win games, and that was thrown around. They want to win games at LSU, too. That's their next stop. And next year they have to be really, really competitive. The best way to do that, to fast-track that, is to get players that have done it in this league. They already have the relationships with these players. That's going to happen. I'm glad Walker Jones talked about the model, because it is the model that's allowing this to happen. It is the model. And, I mean, Ole Miss fans might not want to hear this, but there's probably been some of that happen at other schools from Ole Miss side too.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's happening at Mississippi State. It's happening at every school around the country. And
but
if you're
not coaches you're welcoming in your building.
No, going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that is entirely new and unique, and not a good unique. It's not a good thing, and for it to be happening in the midst of a playoff run is even worse. But this is the model that has been created by the NCAA by kind of standing back and not changing in the way that it should change. We're not seeing positive change. We're seeing negative change. And now you're sitting here with an opportunity to go to a semifinal, and you have coaches that are trying to get players to follow them to LSU while also trying to win a football game. That's not great.
It gets worse, too. But, yeah, I mean, the only reason why you do at this point what they chose to do is to make the committee not punish you for Lane leaving. That's the only thing at this point.
Because if you lose your whole offensive staff in Lane,
they're probably punishing
They're probably going to send you on the road. Yeah.
And so from that perspective, it was worth it. Team played well, but there's more to it. We'll get to it when we come back. I think that this, regardless of the result Thursday, is coming to a quick end. We'll keep going. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
Why Trust Call was previously recorded.
Sports Talk Mississippi is back.
This is it.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back. Sports Talk Mississippi, continuing on with this Ross Dellinger story from Yahoo, talking about the varying conflicts of interest with the Ole Miss staff and the things that the players are having to deal with. Here's the next thing. It says, on Tuesday, players mostly shook off questions about any of those discussions. Quarterback Trinidad Chambliss says he hasn't spoken to Kiffin and added, I don't think that's even allowed right now. A nod to the NCAA's rules against tampering that nobody follows because the NCAA can't enforce it. Here's something, though. Running back Kejuan Lacey said he's had conversations about his future with the outgoing assistant coaches and the incoming new assistant coaches and the holdover assistant coaches. Yes, there are 3 kinds of assistants on this team, but Lacey says he's focused on the main thing. After all, he says, quote, we are in the playoffs. But, I mean, just the outright admittance. We all know what happens. But here is Ole Miss's running back, 48 hours before he plays in the biggest game of his life. The coach is going to LSU. Yeah, I've had conversations with them about my future. And This is why I talked about it so much, and I know in some Ole Miss circles it wasn't popular, but this is why. This is why I question whether or not, how valuable is a running backs coach when he's already missing some obligations. The LSU staff missed some things. Like that did happen, and they have replacements that are filling their roles when they're not there. How valuable is those assistant coaches to winning? And maybe it's a lot. Maybe it is, but it's like you have a senior in high school. A lot of you have parents that are, or a lot of you are parents that have teenage children. You're not going to stop them from drinking. They're going to find ways. They'll go out. They'll sneak around. If little Johnny wants to have a beer in high school, he's going to find one. He will. I did. A lot of you listening did. That doesn't mean you put the liquor cabinet in their bedroom.
Right.
It's still going to happen. Tampering's still going to happen. Make them do it from away from within your facility. This is your running back just admitting it. Yeah, I've had conversations about my future with these coaches. But remember, we were all told it's all professional. They would never jeopardize anything. It would never happen. That's what we were told. BS is what we called it at the time, and BS is what it is.
Well, to your point about how important are they? I don't think at this stage in the game they are vital. I mentioned it last week. I think at this point it's about putting the players in the right position, and do you have someone you feel confident enough to call plays? If you don't, then Charlie Weiss is your only hope, I guess. I don't know, but do you not have an assistant running backs coach that you don't trust that can just tell Keywan Lacey to run? I mean, what are we doing at this point? Is Kevin Smith actually doing anything at all for Keywan Lacey and his success? I mean, I don't think that's going to be the difference in Ole Miss winning and losing. I think 100% that was a perception play to the committee that, look, we have our staff in place. We lost our head coach, but our current head coach is the head coach, and we didn't lose anyone else. Our entire offensive staff is essentially still in place. Everything is going to continue on as is. Lane Kiffin wasn't calling plays. Our offensive coordinator's here, so we're good.
Yeah.
That was a perception play.
100%.
I do not think that at this stage of the game, this season, that those coaches are going to be, outside of maybe Charlie Weiss, because I don't know who would have called plays. Joe Judge.
You got to keep Weiss around. You have to.
I think at this point, I mean, you would lose your two guys that are the kind of the masterminds of the offense. That would be an issue. I guess Joe Judge at this stage could run it.
I'm sure he could, but
I think Weiss is fine. But the other guys, that's not the difference, I don't think, in you winning and losing this game.
Can't be.
And it definitely wouldn't have been the difference against Tulane.
Especially if you win Thursday. More on that in a second. Here's more from the story. Except, of course, when the six of them hold separate recruiting meetings at night, some which unfold at Weiss's own home and include perhaps conversations about pursuing current Ole Miss players to come to Baton Rouge. That's been a rumor that's been going around for a little while. It was rumored that players were involved in said meeting at the Weiss house. Can't verify that. Have no idea if it's true. Ross at least verifies that, yeah, they had to meet at Weiss's house to talk about pursuing Ole Miss players. Everything's on the up and up, though.
And again,
Here's a quote from Weiss. You spend the whole day grinding together with the game plan, and at night you've got to go to opposite sides of the building. At nighttime, we go take care of recruiting meetings on our own. It's a crazy deal.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, more from the story, everyone seems to know what's coming once the Rebel season comes to an end. Ole Miss players head into LSU, and maybe LSU players headed to Ole Miss. Player swaps, as one school official described it. He gets into, a lot of the stuff, Austin Thomas, et cetera, et cetera. But here's another one. Some are even wondering if this game will be the last Rebels game for at least some of the LSU-bound assistants, regardless if Ole Miss wins to advance to the semifinals. In fact, last week, Kiffin called back the assistants for a couple of days. They missed meetings and an Ole Miss walkthrough last Monday before returning from Baton Rouge midweek to start game planning from Georgia. We talked about that on this show previously. They missed things. They missed obligations, and they were obviously in Baton Rouge because there was a video. The portal opens Friday. Kevin Smith, because the playoff forces assistants to be available, was asked about it today, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but it was essentially, look, I'm here. I told them I'm here for the long haul. I'll be here forever. But on Friday, I've got obligations for LSU.
So is he gone for good after that, or is he's heading out the door and then coming back for potentially the game?
At that point, with the portal then open, if Ole Miss wins on Thursday, I don't think that you can continue this way anymore because the portal opens on Friday.
It doesn't make sense.
That at that point, you can't continue. I don't think you can continue. If you win on Thursday, you thank them for their service. You don't need to deal with the committee anymore. The portal is open, and you can't have an open portal with those people in your building. In my opinion, you can't do it. That is the drop dead date is Thursday after the game. If you win, they got to go. They have to because the portal's then open. At least in the tampering period, it's players can't leave yet. They can't open themselves up to those conversations publicly, even though it all happens privately. I think that's where this will ultimately end, is all but one, I think, would be on their way.
It's insane that Ole Miss is having to deal with this in the middle of their greatest season ever.
They have a game in 48 hours.
You lost your head coach before the playoffs began, and you had to basically, bite down and keep most of the staff intact that was clearly leaving for LSU to allow yourself to be able to host a home playoff game because that's what you deserve because you went 11-1. And now, 2 games into this, you're a game away from playing for a trip to a national championship.
Yep.
And you're talking about we might have to get rid of some of these guys because they're tampering with the players while we're trying to prepare for a potential national championship in a few weeks. I mean, if Ole Miss wins this game against Georgia, it is an unbelievable job of the players being able to block out all this crap because none of this is their fault.
It's been amazing how well this team has navigated dealing with all that crap. It's amazing that they've won 12 games considering what's been going on for months.
In the history of the Egg Bowl, that Black Friday game would have gone Mississippi State's way in normal circumstances. If you look back at the history of the Egg Bowl, a coach is clearly on his way out. The team comes out completely dejected. They're not really interested. For them to be able to get up for that game and to handle Mississippi State fairly well, that was impressive. Now, if you're able to handle all this crap, you beat Tulane. I don't think they could have sleptwalked in that game, but
they did.
They were clearly more talented than Tulane. They were probably going to win that game, but they dominated that ball game from start to finish. It was never a game. If you somehow win this game against a Georgia team that has been preparing for this for 2.5 weeks
without their assistants in Auburn,
yeah, and you look at Kirby Smart and that staff is extremely strong. The team is well put together. If you somehow win this game, that is an amazing job by the players to just kind of, like Kejuan Lacey, keep the main thing and just focus on the game. I mean, it's got to be difficult.
I mean, this is a good question. If they're going to tamper anyway, why does it matter if they are in the building? I like my analogy that I used earlier. You might be just joining us, but I mean, it's if you have a teenager, they're going to go try to go drink with their friends.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the bonfires? Oh, we're going to have a bonfire. What are you guys doing? Oh, we're just having a bonfire. That was our thing. We would steal our parents' beer, and everybody would grab like 1 or 2 from the parents so they wouldn't notice, and we'd go have a bonfire, and that's what we would do. That doesn't mean you buy it for them. You know what I mean? It's
you can at least eliminate the face-to-face contact,
the ease of it.
Yeah, I mean they could easily text them, call them, whatever after hours, but they're not there with them every single day, and you've put them in position to have those conversations. So at least you take blood off your hands,
especially now after they are missing things. Mm-hmm. They're not even there for everything.
Yeah.
So how valuable are they? Maybe they're super valuable. This story shines a light on why I was so concerned about it and why we talked about it so much. it's not normal, and people try to normalize it. This isn't normal. We'll be back.
I'm here with David Baroni.
This show was previously recorded.
Sports Talk. Sports Talk Mississippi. To the junction, in the groove, and to the top. Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. A couple more players to get to on the Hall of Fame ballot. This one, this is the kind of one that's difficult. Kevin Williams played defensive tackle. He's actually from Arkansas, but played at Oklahoma State. Played defensive tackle for the Vikings for a decade, the Seahawks, and then the Saints to finish his career. 5-time first-team All-Pro. That is really significant. 5-time first-team All-Pro. So that might be what sways it, but I mean, 528 tackles in his career, 63 sacks, did force 10 fumbles, and had 5 picks from the defensive tackle spot. That's a tough position to judge because you can be an elite player without super elite numbers. But 5-time first-team All-Pro, I mean, that does tell you a lot. Yeah,
that's strong. I don't know much about Kevin Williams. I don't remember much about him. But when you're stacking all pros like that is way more impressive than Pro Bowls. Pro Bowls is like a popularity contest. All Pro is you basically get at the defensive tackle position. I think it's 4 or 5 guys are selected to that, and so for 5 years he was essentially a top 5 player at his position. That is really strong. When we talk about what you do within your time frame as a player, that's a strong resume. And he played 12 years in the league. That's really strong. He would be one of these if I was just skimming over before you read the accolades. If I was just skimming over this list, he would be one of those that I said, I don't think so. That's actually a really impressive resume.
Darren Woodson. Darren Woodson has been up for the Hall of Fame since 2008 and has not gotten in quite yet. Was a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys, spent his entire career with the Cowboys from 92 to 2003. He's in their Ring of Honor, as you can imagine. 3-time first-team All-Pro, had 1,350 tackles in his career, 23 interceptions mixed in there as well from his safety spot, had 11 sacks. Has not gotten into this point. I don't know if it's going to happen at this point.
I don't think it's going to happen.
If you haven't gotten in since 2008.
I mean, we're looking at this is over 20 years since he's been out, and he hasn't gotten in yet, and he's been on the ballot now since 2023, it says. The numbers are good. The numbers are really good, but it doesn't appear that he's going to get in, I don't think.
And the last one, I was today years old when I learned who this guy was. Marshall Yonda. He's from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He got his college career started at North Iowa Area Community College is where he got his career started.
Don't even know, never heard of it.
No idea, but it's a real place apparently. And then he went to Iowa for 2 years. Played with the Ravens from 2007 to 19, his entire career in Baltimore. Won a Super Bowl, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, 5-time second-team All-Pro as well. So 7 years of his career, he was first or second-team All-Pro. I don't know anything about him, truthfully. I mean, 177 games in his career, 166 starts. Apparently he's awesome. But I don't know anything about this guy.
Again, this is another one that I know fairly well, and I don't like that I know it. He was very good with Baltimore. He was very good. How about Iowa, by the way? Their stranglehold they have on the NFL at certain positions. Offensive line, tight end, defensive line. They just churn them out, man. They just churn them out. You would be shocked if you went and looked. They might be not popping off your mind right now. Go look at the tight ends that are in the NFL from Iowa and some of the defensive linemen. It's really insane. And this is a guy that he had a great career at Baltimore. I think there's a good shot that he gets in. He had some battles with the Steelers back in the early 2000s and in the 2010s. I think there's a chance he probably gets in. He's only been on the ballot for 2 years, so there's still a good shot here for him.
And there you go. There's your possible Hall of Fame class. Probably a pretty busy one mixed in there.
That's a really good class. That is a really, really good class.
And especially since it's guys that we grew up watching too.
Yep.
Like we're really familiar with who they are.
Well, it's like you're probably very similar to me. I think you're a few years behind me, but this time frame when these guys were in their prime is when we really got into NFL football. Probably,
yeah.
2000s, early 2000s was really when I started to love NFL football. That was a great time period for the NFL, and so these guys are starting to fire off some memories.
There it is. 601-879-4395, the C-Spire text line. We'll get to the college football fix when we come back. Stick with us.
This show was previously recorded.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Boom! Are you ready for some football?
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back in Sports Talk Mississippi. So glad that you guys are with us on this Tuesday. We will be live tomorrow, and we will be live Friday. So just a heads up, we will be live tomorrow. New Year's Eve, doesn't matter. We're still going to be live talking sports with you. Only reason why we're not live on New Year's Day is simply because the game broadcast will take over. And we wouldn't be on the air. We'd just be talking to ourselves. So you'll have tomorrow's show live, then Sugar Bowl. And then Friday, we'll be back right here live as well. Talk Sugar Bowl and then get you ready for the Duke's Mayo Bowl. What's coming up here, though, we got football to talk about. A couple of your messages on the text line. Still the Hall of Fame class, or at least the final nominees are out. We'll do a should they or should they not get into the Hall of Fame. There is a particular Manning that is on the ballot this year. Should he get in? We'll bring that up. You'll hear from Pete Golding. You'll hear a little bit of a conversation that I had with Brooks Austin as well, previewing Ole Miss and Georgia, and more. That's coming up right here on Sports Talk Mississippi, and that's brought to you by Ag Up. Right now at Ag Up, you got 2 more days, guys. That's it. 2 more days. You can get the John Deere tractor you need. They're calling it their year-end closeout sale. You can save on all in-stock 1 through 5 series tractors while they last. Stop by a branch today. You can check them out at AgUp, A-G-U-P, agup.com. Offer ends tomorrow. So go ahead. I mean, see what you can get. I know they were flying off the lots, but they've got some availability still. Great deals if you're looking for a John Deere tractor at Ag Up. Somebody on the text line says, I think Ole Miss brings their A-plus game Thursday and plays their best game of the year. Going to be a great, very close game. And if you're looking for not necessarily positive, just reality, that team, as we talked about all year, has faced varying degrees of adversity. They go to Athens the first time, they play well for 3 quarters, and then they absolutely crap the bed in the 4th. Lost the game. Found themselves in that exact situation on the road a week later. Had a lead, blew that lead, and then executed beautifully in Norman and won that football game. And, I mean, in-game adversity as well. You have the injury to Austin Simmons. Trinidad plays basically perfectly, but then throws his first interception against LSU. Turns around and had 2 perfect drives after that. They win the game. You have all of the Kiffin drama and all the distractions that come with that. I mean, Kiffin wasn't at the team meeting after the Florida game. They had the bye week between Florida and Mississippi. Their coach didn't even show up for the team meeting. Wasn't even there. So not only do you have the distractions about the coach was distracted himself. And yet they found a way to lock in and played great in the Egg Bowl and dominated Mississippi State on the road. And you don't do that in the Egg Bowl very often. That's not a thing that happens in the Egg Bowl very often, and they did that. And then you have Kiffin leaving and Pete taking over and all the stuff that's come with that. Host a playoff game, and they played beautifully. I mean, just executed, blocked out all the noise and distraction, played great football. It's in the team's DNA. We talk about veteran leadership as an old football team. Trinidad, his first year in the SEC, he's played a lot of football. He's been around. He's an older guy anyway. Daquan Wright's an old guy. Both of their offensive tackles, they're old guys. Trey Wallace has played in the playoffs before. DeJon Stribling's an old guy. Caden Lee's an old guy. Defensively, they've got that too. Wyatt Williams played a lot of college football in his life. Centurion Perkins is not old, but he's played a lot of college football, has a ton of starts, a ton of everything. TJ Daughtery's played a lot of football, and so on and so on. It's a very old football team. And I think a lot of that has helped them navigate all this because they're not fragile kids. A lot of them are grown men at this point. And that has manifested in the way that they've responded to adversity. There's no reason to think that they won't play well on Thursday either. That's just what they've done all season long.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. I think because it's going to be somewhere in between because I think Georgia's defense will play better in this ball game than they did. It's going to be hard for Ole Miss to execute as well as they did for 3 quarters offensively. So I think Georgia's defense will play better. I don't think Ole Miss will be as good as they were offensively for those first 3 quarters. But at the same time, I think Ole Miss's defense is going to be better in this ball game. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
It's tough.
I'm siding with Georgia, but you look back at it, and Ole Miss in that ball game, they scored on every single possession for 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter happened. I don't know what to expect. You know, you think that Ole Miss's defense will be able to get a few more stops in this game than they did in that one. It's going to be really interesting. I'd probably give Kirby and their staff the edge because there's that disjointedness.
It just hasn't been anything infiltrating them right now.
Right. You don't have that rift. And Kirby, obviously, this is his program. Elite. And has been his program, and you could argue he and his staff are the best staff in America right now. Nick Saban is gone. Kirby Smart has kind of slid into that role, and they've been here. They've done this. A lot of these players have competed for national championships since they've been there. They got 5 stars across the board. But Ole Miss, I mean, you can talk about their schedule, and it's not the most daunting schedule in the NCAA, but every team that has popped up in front of them, with the exception of this Georgia team, they've beaten.
Yeah.
And this Georgia team, they were in the ball game late in Athens, which is a very difficult place to play.
If they get a 4th and 1 stop and they had the guy wrapped up in the backfield, they win the game.
Yeah, that was just a powerful run.
Just crazy how that happened. But
it's going to be a very interesting game. I think that Ole Miss should have a chance in this ball game. I don't think anybody thinking that they have no shot. They haven't been paying attention, but it'll be interesting. Yeah, I think I give the edge to Georgia based on the fact they've had several weeks to prepare for this ball game. They've seen Ole Miss before, and they are elite. But Ole Miss has the arsenal to win this game. It's about players. At the end of the day. Yeah. And Ole Miss has the players. They have the system. They have what it takes to win this ball game. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Ole Miss is going to have to. I mean, they've done a much better job at getting after the quarterback lately. I think it's 4 sacks in the first 7 games and 22 in the last 5 games, something like that. So they got to get after the quarterback, and they've got to. Explosive plays defensively is the key. Turnover, sack, maybe get lucky on a tipped ball, that kind of thing. None of that happened in Athens. They didn't play well defensively, obviously, but there's a couple of opportunities for interceptions that they couldn't. There's a sack in there that would have changed the game, or a would-be sack that Stockton got out of. Little things like that. You just have to go your way if you're going to have a shot. But it's Kirby's Georgia. They're going to be exceptional. It's what they are.
And when they get to this stage, this has been where he and his team have shined. I mean,
yeah, it's what they do. He's good at it, man. He's one of the best. 601-879-4395, the text line. 601-879-4395. Hall of Fame. The finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame have been released. These are not the people getting in. These are the people that are up for the vote to get in. We will talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. After the break, we'll get to that. Mentioned him yesterday. Deuce Knight officially entering the transfer portal. The Auburn quarterback that's from Mississippi, uber talented. Hugh Freeze obviously went with Jackson Arnold, understandably so, this season. That did not work out. He is entering the transfer portal. And, a lot of people are connecting him to Ole Miss. And, some people even think that he's coming to Ole Miss regardless of the Trinidad waiver situation. I don't know if that's real or not. I do know that Ole Miss they're going to need to add a quarterback to the room. They're going to need to add multiple quarterbacks to the room, I think, regardless of Trinidad's waiver situation. And if you can get a guy like that to, quote-unquote, come home back to Mississippi, that'd be a big win. Most people so far, anyway, are really pointing him in the direction of Ole Miss. It's the portal. Things change. But the early word is that is, if you had to bet, that's where you would bet on him ending up. But things change.
Would not shock me at all. That's been a potential landing spot that I've thought for him, even going back to his high school days. And you talk about players, it's very rare now to stay somewhere for your entire college career. So I'd immediately start thinking about where's a potential landing spot for such and such. Ole Miss has always been the one that makes sense for Deuce Knight. I also wonder if LSU sniffs around a little bit with him. Well, he has a good relationship with Lane Kiffin, I think.
Does he? There might be a reason he ended up at Auburn.
Very well could be.
I don't know. I'm just purely thinking out loud there.
I think in either offense, obviously it's essentially the same offense. He would fit that offense very well.
Should they or should they not? Hall of Fame members, including a Manning. We'll do that when we come back.
Need a business loan?
This show was previously recorded.
This segment of Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Sports Talk Mississippi, your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State.
Let me put it to you this way.
Right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Michael Borky, Robbie Falk, Sports Talk Mississippi. Will they or should they not? That's what it'll be. Should they or should they not? Here are your finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You have 15 guys that are up to make the Hall of Fame. Starting with offensive tackle Willie Anderson. You guys may remember him. He played at Auburn starting when I was 1 year old, from 1993 to 1995, was the number 10 overall pick in the draft in 1996. Spent 9 years with Cincinnati, another year with Baltimore, 3-time first-team All-Pro, and another second-team All-Pro as well. Already in the Bengals Ring of Honor, 40th and 50th anniversary teams. He was a second-team All-American, 2-time first-team All-SEC. Back in his college days. Should he or should he not make the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, as a AFC North fan, no, he shouldn't. just because I don't like the Bengals or the Ravens. No, I think Willie Anderson had an incredible career. I don't know how many players do they take out of this?
So it's simply a vote, right?
So they could take all these guys?
They could take all of them.
Yeah, I think he's had. I needed to know that before I load up here at the top, and then I get down to the bottom, and all of a sudden, I don't have any spots. Yeah, Willie Anderson had a great career. Sure.
Number 2. You guys know him. The answer is an easy yes on this one. There is no debate. Drew Brees is up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't think if there's anybody that doesn't vote for him to get into the Hall of Fame, they need out. We need to revoke their voting privileges.
Here.
He is most certainly to lead the Saints, no offense, but to lead the Saints to glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His records in the NFL: highest completion percentage in a season, most passing touchdowns in a game, that's 7, by the way, most consecutive games with a touchdown pass at 54, and the most 5,000-yard passing seasons with 5. He completed 68% of his passes in his career, had 571 touchdowns, 80,358 yards, a career passer rating of 98.7. Also had 752 rushing yards for good measure, and 25 rushing touchdowns did Drew Brees. Accolades through the roof. Most accurate passer in the history of the sport of football. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
A guy that, for most of the last 10, 15 years, people would not take a quarterback like that.
No.
The size issues. And he's also the first guy that I look at on this list that makes me start to feel old, because I can remember him in college. This is where we are now in the Hall of Fame. The guys that are starting to filter into the Hall of Fame, they're guys that were playing college football when I was coming up in junior high and in high school. Mm-hmm. So that makes me feel really old.
This one, I think, will be a debated one. Jari Evans, the former Saint, he also played with Seattle and Green Bay sparingly. Also is an offensive line coach with the Saints. He's in coaching now as well. He's been a minority owner of some arena football leagues as well. But obviously was on their Super Bowl team, a 4-time first-team All-Pro, and then add a second-team All-Pro in there as well. That one, based on reading some reaction, people are kind of on the fence of whether or not he's a true Hall of Famer. But he is a former Saint, so obviously in Saints country, people are going to say, yes, he belongs in.
Yeah, it's a lot tougher for me with these offensive linemen because you don't have a large reference point. When we can look at, when you read off Drew Brees' records and stats, it's very easy to measure things out. He's a starting quarterback with a Super Bowl at a franchise that has really struggled to win, and he holds NFL records. That guy's in the Hall of Fame. When you start looking at some of these offensive guards, centers, guys that aren't like the Jeff Saturdays of the world that you absolutely know, it's a little tougher. So I know nothing about Jari Evans to feel certain this guy's a Hall of Famer.
Next up, Larry Fitzgerald.
Another slam dunk.
Slam dunk, no doubt. He is absolutely making the Hall of Fame. 17,500 receiving yards in his career, including 121 receiving touchdowns. He has won basically every accolade that you can think of when it comes to not only being a great player, but being class. That was the guy that my dad always pointed to growing up. Be like him. When you score a touchdown, give the ball to the ref, and high-five your teammates because you couldn't do it without them. So that was always the guy that my dad was like, you need to, when you're playing sports, act like this guy because he's never about himself. He's always about the people that helped him get there, and also just an elite player. World-class guy, easy Hall of Famer.
At a position where there's not always world-class players, like people. I mean, that is a position that has created a lot of vain
drama.
mindsets.
Yeah.
And this guy, when he was at Pittsburgh, was like that. Whenever he was in college, and it was just always the consummate pro, and you just could not guard him. And he had a steel trap for hands. And his son now is coming up. He's going to Notre Dame, so we're going to have another Fitzgerald coming through the ranks. We're starting to get to that point, too.
Yeah,
where
that's the worst.
Players that we watch in the NFL, their kids are coming up now.
Like
one of
this
them
one.
is next, yeah.
Frank Gore. Frank Gore is up for the Hall of Fame, and he was good at a lot of things, but the fact that as a running back, he played from 2005 to 2020 is Hall of Fame worthy in and of itself. 5-time Pro Bowler, 16,000 rushing yards in his career, also 4,000 receiving yards on top of that, 81 rushing touchdowns, 18 receiving touchdowns, and he holds the NFL record for the most games played by a running back. He's also a member of the 2010s All-Decade team. He doesn't have he's only been All-Pro once, and that was second team. Does not have a Super Bowl, which isn't fair because he's a running back. That's more of a quarterback award. I think he's in, but I don't think it's like in the same way as Breeze is, where it's like you don't even have the conversation.
Slam dunk.
But Gore needs to be in.
I think so. He was just a really consistent back wherever he went. I mean, all these places he was successful, and it was one of those guys like, all right, we need to pick up a back here. Somebody, we got an injury. We need somebody to come in. He would come in, and it would be seamless. And we almost saw Frank Gore and Frank Gore Jr. in the pros at the same time. I don't know if Jr. has gotten a chance to, has he made a roster? I don't know. But they almost crossed. That would have been incredible. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I really do. For, 3 decades, he was running the football, and that's really tough to do these days. I think he's going to be one of those last guys that was just kind of a lifer that lasts beyond 10-plus years. The running back is kind of starting to fade a little bit, and it's kind of, I don't want to say dime a dozen, but those guys, their careers don't last like they used to.
No, they don't. Man, looking at this list, I'm going to have so many yeses. It's unbelievable.
It's an incredible list. I mean,
next
there's like
is
2
Torrey
guys
Holt.
on this list that I question.
Yeah. Torrey Holt's next. Founding member of the greatest show on turf, Super Bowl champion, of course. Number 6 overall pick, played with the Rams. Spent a year in Jacksonville as well. 13,400 receiving yards, 74 receiving touchdowns. Already a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. Obviously, that doesn't factor into this selection, but still just worth pointing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving years from 2000 to 2007. Does he get in?
He has been a finalist for 7 years. The previous 6 years, he has not been selected. I'm kind of surprised by that. Because he had a great career.
He really did.
He was incredible. I mean, that
it was short. I wonder if that's working against him.
I loved that Rams team. That was the heat of my affection for Madden. The Titans and the Rams during that time. Steve McNair and Eddie George, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt was in that. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I mean, he hasn't been elected for 6 years. So, I don't know.
We'll keep on this when we come back. Should they or should they not make the Hall of Fame? We're going through the candidate list right now. Glad you guys are with us. Sports Talk Mississippi from the Pearl River Resort Studio.
I'm Congressman
was previously recorded.
This is a place for crazy people.
If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
Going through the Hall of Fame nominees for obviously the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Next up, should he or should he not get in? Eli Manning is up for the Hall of Fame this year. And should he get in? Two-time Super Bowl champion, was with the Giants for 15 years after going 1-1 in the 2004 draft. Two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP as well. 57,000 passing yards in his career and 366 touchdowns. Holds the NFL record for the most passing yards in one single postseason as well. I am shocked that Brady does not have that record just because of the amount of chances that he has had to play in Super Bowls. But the Brady killer himself, Eli Manning, I've already seen the debate. This is one that's going to be debated. I don't agree. Maybe I'm too close to it and not able to think clearly. I agree that he belongs in the Hall of Fame. 15 years starting quarterback, two-time Super Bowl MVP, is a Hall of Famer.
Yes, those things make him a Hall of Famer. He won 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots in the middle of their dynasty. If he didn't have the Super Bowls, I would argue
it's a different conversation.
I would argue against him being in because he did have a high propensity to throw interceptions. There were some seasons in there that weren't very good, and the Giants had some bad seasons.
Yeah, they did.
But they had 2 really, really good seasons that ended with him going head-to-head with Tom Brady and winning the Super Bowl and winning 2 MVPs. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer. Should be without much doubt, I think.
Somebody says, Eli Manning, no. What are we doing here, as Haydad says? Bobby says the only quarterback Tom Brady couldn't beat in the Super Bowl. Eli, yes. Also consecutive games played. So we will see. I think he's going to get
longevity, winning the biggest game twice. I think, see,
and beating Brady to do it too.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going the Egg Bowl route here, I think Dak Prescott is going to have a incredible career from a longevity standpoint, statistical standpoint. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't win a Super Bowl, if he doesn't have a long playoff run, it's going to be difficult for him to be in that conversation. Eli Manning is in this conversation based on the fact that he went to the Super Bowl twice, beat Tom Brady twice, and won the MVP twice. That is why he's in this conversation. I don't think that he's on the ballot without those 2 things happening.
Next up, Luke Kuechly. Now, this one is going to be a debated one because he was an unbelievable linebacker for the Panthers. Number 9 overall pick. He was awesome. I mean, won Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time first-team All-Pro. I mean, he was so good. And he has the NFL record for most tackles in a game. He only played 7 years in the NFL. Had 1,100 tackles, 12.5 sacks, 18 picks, which is pretty awesome for a linebacker. But is Luke Kuechly a Hall of Famer because he only did it for 7 years? Now, there's precedent for Patrick Willis getting in. Yeah. Because Patrick Willis had a shorter career as well. Equally as dominant, if not more dominant than Kuechly. But they're very comparable. But Willis was around a little bit longer. Does Kuechly get in with his short career?
I think that that we should have the ability to look at these players and the impact that they make within the time frame of them being in the NFL. And it's kind of like the Barry Sanders thing. Like, a Barry Sanders career should have gone beyond what it did, but the impact he made during the time frame that he played was as strong as any running back in NFL history. Luke Kuechly, relative to his position group at linebacker, I'm not saying he made as big an impact as any linebacker, but a very strong impact. In his 7 years, whatever it was in the NFL, he was at the top of the list of linebackers in the NFL on a bad team too. So I think he is. I watched his entire career. He was an elite player throughout the entire career that he had. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think you have to look at it as what the impact that they made within the time frame they were in the NFL, whenever that was. and he did it for 7 years, whatever it was. He had to leave because of concussions. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
He was truly dominant feared as a player. Next up, Terrell Suggs. You guys remember Terrell Suggs from the Ravens?
Another player I just could not stand.
I couldn't stand him either. From 2003 to 2018 was in Baltimore, spent a little bit of time in Arizona and Kansas City as well. 2 Super Bowls, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, was first-team All-Pro once, made the Pro Bowl 7 times, and he is the NFL's leader in career tackles for loss with 202.
Yep, I think it's a slam dunk. I mean, I hate the Ravens, but this guy was incredible when he was with Baltimore, and I mean, came up on 20 years in the NFL. That's incredible.
Time.
2003 to 2019. I mean, that's a long time, and he's hitting someone on every single play. He's not a punter, long snapper, no offense. This guy was hitting people as hard as he could on every single play. I witnessed it firsthand by watching it.
Next up, slam dunk, no-brainer. This guy's getting in. Adam Vinatieri, the kicker, made 599 field goals in his career. I can't believe he didn't just roll back out there for one more just to get to 600. 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time first-team All-Pro, but here's the impressive part. NFL records, most career points scored, 2,673. Most consecutive field goals made, 44. Most combined regular season and postseason games played, 397. I know he's a kicker, but still. That 599 number is the most career field goals in the NFL. Most career field goals attempted as well, that 715 number. So he made 84% of his kicks. Most seasons with 100-plus points at 21. Most career field goals in overtime at 11. And most field goals made in the postseason with 14. Adam Vinatieri is absolutely a Hall of Famer.
You can argue this guy's the GOAT right now. I mean, he had basically 2 separate careers. He did it with New England, which is where I first remember him. The first kick I remember was, I think, that snow game against the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And he had a great career with New England. Then he went to the Colts and did what he did with the Colts. He is one of the best kickers of all time. No doubt he's a Hall of Famer.
Next up, Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne was Peyton Manning's, one of his go-to guys anyway. He and Marvin Harrison.
And Dallas Clark.
And Dallas Clark. From 01 to 14, won a Super Bowl there. By the way, he's coaching in Indianapolis right now. He's their receivers coach, but won the Super Bowl, was first-team All-Pro in 2010. Doesn't have any of the records or accolades like some of these other guys do, but he did have 14,000 receiving yards in his NFL career, 82 receiving touchdowns. I don't think he's a slam dunk, but I do think eventually, if not this year, he will get in.
It's the same thing with Torrey Holt. You're kind of in the same realm here. Very solid receiver, was very good. But also, Marvin Harrison was kind of the guy with Peyton Manning, and Reggie Wayne just kind of stepped in behind that. But I don't know. I think he and Holt are borderline. I like Holt. I like Wayne. I think they both have Hall of Fame caliber careers, but they're going to be kind of on the borderline. And he's just like Torrey Holt. He has been on the ballot for 7 years.
Yeah.
When you start to get up to 7 years and you're starting to move up there and people aren't voting you in, it's going to be tougher.
Next up, Jason Witten, the current head coach at Liberty Christian High School in Texas, if you can believe that. Played in Dallas from 03 to 17, came back in 19 and played with the Raiders in 20. 13,000 receiving yards as a tight end, 2-time first-team All-Pro mixed in there as well, 74 career touchdowns. One of the better tight ends to ever play the game, and longevity is going to help him a lot here. Going from 03 to 20, playing tight end to the NFL is significant.
Yeah, can he be a first ballot? That's the question.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not.
Yeah. I think he's a Hall of Famer. He was he was the one of those quintessential safety blanket tight ends, but he was a mismatch too. Like, he was deceptive as a receiving tight end. Great blocker. He just had a fantastic career, and it spanned a couple of different eras at Dallas. You know, he was part of Tony Romo, but also he started off with Dak Prescott. He was a big part of Dak Prescott being Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
In year one. So I don't know if he's the first ballot, but he's going to be close. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, I think, no doubt.
Well, there's just a couple more. We will finish this list when we come back and then get back to the college football in the 5 o'clock hour. Stick with us. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
Show was previously recorded.
Sports Talk Mississippi, to the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. A couple more players to get to on the Hall of Fame ballot. This one, this is the kind of one that's difficult. Kevin Williams played defensive tackle. He's actually from Arkansas, but played at Oklahoma State. Played defensive tackle for the Vikings for a decade, the Seahawks, and then the Saints to finish his career. 5-time first-team All-Pro. That is really significant. 5-time first-team All-Pro. So that might be what sways it, but I mean, 528 tackles in his career, 63 sacks, did force 10 fumbles, and had 5 picks from the defensive tackle spot. That's a tough position to judge because you can be an elite player without super elite numbers. But 5-time first-team All-Pro, I mean, that does tell you a lot. Yeah,
that's strong. I don't know much about Kevin Williams. I don't remember much about him. But when you're stacking all pros like that is way more impressive than Pro Bowls. Pro Bowls is like a popularity contest. All Pro is you basically get at the defensive tackle position. I think it's 4 or 5 guys are selected to that, and so for 5 years he was essentially a top 5 player at his position. That is really strong. When we talk about what you do within your time frame as a player, that's a strong resume. And he played 12 years in the league. That's really strong. He would be one of these if I was just skimming over before you read the accolades. If I was just skimming over this list, he would be one of those that I said, I don't think so. That's actually a really impressive resume.
Darren Woodson. Darren Woodson has been up for the Hall of Fame since 2008 and has not gotten in quite yet. Was a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys, spent his entire career with the Cowboys from 92 to 2003. He's in their Ring of Honor, as you can imagine. 3-time first-team All-Pro, had 1,350 tackles in his career, 23 interceptions mixed in there as well from his safety spot, had 11 sacks. Has not gotten into this point. I don't know if it's going to happen at this point.
I don't think it's going to happen.
You haven't gotten in since 2008.
I mean, we're looking at this is over 20 years since he's been out, and he hasn't gotten in yet. And he's been on the ballot now since 2023. It says the numbers are good. The numbers are really good, but it doesn't appear that he's going to get in. I don't think.
And the last one, I was today years old when I learned who this guy was, Marshall Yanda. He's from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He got his college career started at North Iowa area. North Iowa Area Community College is where he got his career started.
Don't even know, never heard of it.
No idea, but it's a real place apparently. And then he went to Iowa for 2 years, played with the Ravens from 07 to 19, his entire career in Baltimore, won a Super Bowl, two-time first-team All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, 5-time second-team All-Pro as well. So 7 years of his career, he was first or second-team All-Pro. I don't know anything about him, truthfully. I mean, 177 games in his career, 166 starts. Apparently he's awesome, but I don't know anything about this guy.
Again, this is another one that I know fairly well, and I don't like that I know it. He was very good with Baltimore. He was very good. How about Iowa, by the way? Their stranglehold they have on the NFL at certain positions. Offensive line, tight end, defensive line, they just churn them out, man. They just churn them out. You would be shocked if you went and looked. They might be not popping off your mind right now. Go look at the tight ends that are in the NFL from Iowa and some of the defensive linemen. It's really insane. And this is a guy that he had a great career at Baltimore. I think there's a good shot that he gets in. He had some battles with the Steelers back in the early 2000s and in the 2010s. I think there's a chance he probably gets in. He's only been on the ballot for 2 years, so there's still a good shot here for him.
And there you go. There's your possible Hall of Fame class. Probably a pretty busy one mixed in there.
That's a really good class. That is a really, really good class.
And especially since it's guys that we grew up watching too.
Yep.
Like we're really familiar with who they are.
Well, it's like you're probably very similar to me. I think you're a few years behind me, but this time frame when these guys were in their prime is when we really got into NFL football. Probably,
yeah.
2000s, early 2000s was really when I started to love NFL football. That was a great time period for the NFL, and so these guys are starting to fire off some memories.
There it is. 601-879-4395, the C-Spire text line. We'll get to the college football fix when we come back. Stick with us.
It's so much fun, and we're going to have highlights of that when we look back on this date. But January 1 and Ole Miss in New Orleans, it's just got a natural symmetry to it.
Let's check into the Learfield studios real quick. Our man Dan Kortz, who is our studio host and will be around with us, is hanging out there. Hello, sir.
Happy New Year, you guys. And another one that my dad's been there a few times. My brother, an Ole Miss alum, was at the last Ole Miss Sugar Bowl in that building. And then you bring up baseball. I think the White Sox were originally, when they were going to move to New Orleans, were supposed to play in that building. So it could have gotten weird at the Superdome.
It can get weird in the Superdome on a normal day.
You are correct.
That's for sure. You'll be back with us to do some scores not too long from now, but it's been an interesting bowl season, yes, but last couple of days in the college football playoffs.
It's dependent on how you're looking at it, because Brett and I were talking before we went on the air. You had Miami last night come out and dominate, and the score might not have indicated, but Miami had that control, and Ohio State just looked flat coming out for the first three quarters. Then you had Oregon have their performance today that against a Texas Tech team that hadn't played in a month as well. So this is the narrative now. Indiana kind of getting that narrative away for right now, but it seems that the teams that played 10, 11 days ago are having comfortable, we'll say.
Yeah, we want to keep that going. Indiana looks very comfortable in the Rose Bowl. We don't want Georgia comfortable. And Julian Sayin picked until the end of the year to look like a freshman starting quarterback for Ohio State.
Not the best time for that to happen. The Georgia Bulldogs have arrived. They're walking the length of the field and towards their locker room, and we'll continue to talk with you, those of us here, Gary, Brett, and the crew, for another hour and a half before we really turn it over to David Harry and John Darnell and kick this off now at 7:10 is the scheduled kickoff time, with Ole Miss and Georgia. Next, we're going to go back to last week. Take a look at that win over Tulane. Plus, put the spotlight on Trinidad Chambliss. It's Ole Miss football from Learfield.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check if they're going for it on 4th down before going to the concession stand.
Yeah, give me 3 hot dogs, 2 jumbo touchdown, baby! What?
Hey, buddy, you want cheese with those?
Yeah, checking first is smart.
No.
So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Planning your next event or tackling that old project around your house? You need Magnolia Rental on your side. From tent and event equipment to all the tools you could possibly need, Magnolia Rental has you covered with a trusted 60-year legacy. Conveniently located at 397 Highway 6 West in Oxford. Or you can call ahead at 662-236-7368. That's Magnolia Rental, your full-service tent, event, and equipment company.
You're listening to Ole Miss football on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield.
And it's flu season again. Let TrustCare's Care Crew help you beat the flu. Our friendly experts are here to help you and your kids treat your sneezes, stuffiness, and sore throats all flu season long. Available for your convenience early mornings, late evenings, and weekends. That's care anytime you need us. Walk in or visit trustcarehealth.com to book your appointment and stay flu-free with the support of your care crew. TrustCare. Feel better faster.
Hey guys, this is Schaefer Davidson and my wife Lori, owners of Davidson Marble and Granite of Canton, Vicksburg, and McGee. We also have Davidson Monument Company of Forest and Kosciuszko, as well as Central Mississippi Monument Company of Carthage and Louisville.
We offer a variety of granite, marble, and bronze headstones. We are back to pre-pandemic lead times with gray granite running approximately 2 to 3 months.
We are a third-generation family-owned business serving Mississippi since 1937. Check us out on Facebook or at DavidsonMarbleandGranite.com.
Ruckler and Haz are both in now. They're both on the right side. Handoff, or fake on the handoff, and Chambliss keeps it off the left side. He steps in the end zone. Touchdown, Trinidad. That's his 7th of the year.
Beautiful read option, David.
And that helped Ole Miss get off to a great start in that game. Went on again to win 41-10 over Tulane in the first round of the playoffs in Oxford. You said it during the break, and we'll kind of talk a little bit more about the game. It's the kind of start. That's what you're hoping that happens here tonight in New Orleans.
Yeah, in Oxford, the whole setting, the Grove, the holidays, the game, the start. Now a more formidable opponent tonight in the Georgia Bulldogs, but I would love that start. It was almost like a script writer couldn't have written it any better in Oxford. And all year long, I've talked about it, Trinidad Chambliss, the ball security, 19 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He's so good with the ball. He's so good with decision-making. He can make all the throws. And I heard Tom Brady say that the key thing to being a great quarterback, you got to have the physical attributes, but you got to be able to think. And Trinidad Chambliss is a thinking man's quarterback.
And the numbers that he put up in that game, on the ground, through the air, you can start to see, and he has now even said it, like the first time against Georgia, it was an eye-opening experience in the fourth quarter.
Well, it was something down on that field, Gary, late third quarter, fourth quarter on, you could feel it. It was no Ken Stadium music. It was natural. It was organic between that marching redcoat band, that student section, and the rest of that almost 85, 90,000 throng of fans. You could feel them really will Georgia back in that game, and the football team responded to it. And I think, as you said, Trinidad knew that he had stepped up in big-time competition.
But he accounted for, in that playoff game against Tulane, 318 total yards, 3 touchdowns, and it's what he has done, except for the one game,
it.
Right? I mean,
really one quarter.
That's true.
One quarter.
Where you were up, by 9 going into that fourth quarter.
And I respect that Georgia crowd. Anybody can get some big old speakers and blast a lot of music. They were making that noise that day with their crowd, and they will tonight. That I think the house is going to be around maybe a smidge over for Ole Miss, 51, 52, 53% to the Georgia fans. I think a lot of Georgia fans, as I've been told around town, we're kind of being selective, maybe waiting, for next week in Phoenix and the following week for Miami. We're not thinking that. We're thinking Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, the powder blue is starting to section in a few spots here or there along the way, and some of the red and black on this side where we're sitting. As you said, it will be interesting. It was walking up and down some of the streets, a majority of Ole Miss fans
has been,
who are here and excited.
13 wins with a win tonight, 12-1 coming into this game. It's just been a spectacular season, and want to keep it going tonight. And Coach Pete Golding has just been the steady hand and the steadiest hand, and we're going to visit with both in a little bit. But Keith Carter and the decision-making he's had for the university and the department has been astounding.
Trinidad, 23 of 29, added a touchdown, no turnovers. The offensive line was good for him again, throwing for 282, 8 different receivers. And we're going to hear a little bit from DeJon Stribling later, but his 50th touchdown catch, boy, if he catches it, it's amazing. He's a big guy. You don't really realize how fast Stribling is either when he gets open and gets out on the move.
But when he catches it, it is downhill and it's ferocious. He's bringing it, and he had the out pattern down in Athens,
right.
and he housed it. But he can do it long distance, he can do it short distance, and the catches he's been making at the high point of the catch, as they like to say, down at Starkville in the Egg Bowl, just so good around the pylon, back of the end zone type.
And again, kind of spotlighting Trinidad through this too, not to put pressure on the quarter. He's got enough pressure in the football game, but if he gets protection, maybe he's more involved in the running game, and I think we will see that. If you look at the numbers, and we're going to compare those later on, the quarterback for both teams, they're a significant part of the running game and what happens. Georgia did a really good job against that running attack of Ole Miss in game one. I think Trinidad's going to have to make some plays with his feet today.
Gary, I think both teams have almost the same defensive strategies. The quarterbacks in the game in October were almost like they had a protective jersey on.
Yeah, right.
And you got to hit the quarterback more. You got to be physical, good, clean, tough football is all I'm advocating. And, nothing at all that would merit a penalty. You don't want that, or you don't want it for anybody being injured. But you can't let either quarterback just tuck it and run like both were kind of able to do in Athens. We sure have to stop Gunnar Stockton. They finished right by each other in the Heisman Trophy race, 7 and 8 for Gunnar Stockton and for Trinidad Chambliss. I think they both are the two most underappreciated quarterbacks in college football. You think of some of the quarterbacks that we were talking about in the preseason to now what we're talking about here where it matters the most, playing for a championship.
And it's been fun to watch the guys walk around, mingle with the crowd, see the people, respond to them, and to see their faces. Pretty relaxed-looking group most of the week.
Oh, it has been, and I think that has been led by Coach Pete Golding of let's put the focus on the players, the focus on trying to win a championship. Look how close we are, and let's concentrate on that and block out all that other stuff. And no excuses, just concentrate on playing ball against a great coach and a great program in Coach Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Both teams are 12-1. Georgia comes in as the 3rd seed out of this playoff run. Ole Miss number 6. We'll let Dan Cords tell us what else is going on or has gone on in the playoff world and whatever else he has in mind after a timeout. Our Guarantee Bank pregame show will continue in a moment. It's Ole Miss football from Learfield.
It's 6:30 and the branch is closed.
Yep.
And you couldn't find your debit card.
Nope.
But you're going to get cash.
Yep. Cadence Bank Live Teller has extended hours, and I can get cash from my account with my driver's license.
My bank can't do that.
Nope.
With over 300 live teller locations with extended hours,
they're a 13-0 ball game.
Jerry Allen on the call for Oregon from Learfield. The Ducks defeat Texas Tech 23-0. Oregon did have a great day defensively as well. The contribution to the shutout, They had 4 takeaways and allowed only 215 yards of offense and 9 first downs to Texas Tech. Oregon moves on to the Peach Bowl semifinal from Atlanta next Friday. They will get the winner of the Alabama-Indiana game. That is your look at the CFP presented by Regions. Put an extra hottie-toddy in your wallet with the Ole Miss Regions Visa debit card or prepaid Regions Now card. Order at regions.com/GoRebels. Ole Miss gets ready to meet Georgia with the winner getting Miami and Glendale next week. I'll bring in Brett and Gary in the waiting game. Almost over for another regular season rematch. I'll add my portion of game planning to our discussion. That is, what will the Rebs need to do to force some mistakes out of Georgia today?
I think you got to put pressure starting on Gunnar Stockton and get him kind of off platform, make him throw a little bit on the run, not let him get cozy in that pocket. And then when you rush him, don't let everybody run downfield and he make the first guy miss, and then the field opens up and he's able to scamper free. I think it starts the focus on the Ole Miss defense, on the Georgia offense, with trying to limit Gunnar Stockton. But he is a very heady player and very capable.
Yeah, and I'll be interested. I know with Drew Bobo out the center, I know the guy handled himself well in the SEC title game. Mm-hmm. I want to see Big Xavion Harris go after the backup, now starting
Great
center,
take, yeah.
right? And let's go at it right up the middle at them from a defensive perspective.
And that's where a lot of football's won, is right up the middle, that center 2-guard area that I think is just where football is physically fought out.
And that to me, up the middle, when we get going a little bit, I think it is a Harris, an Eccles, and then Centurion Perkins.
Yeah.
I think that's Captain Obvious setting here and doing that. But
Dottery.
To me, that's it, right?
Yeah, that
is it. It's. I mean, other guys are going to have to
football to me.
Other guys are going to have to make plays, and I'm gonna bring it up when we get with Harry, because watching some of these games, last night's game, the one today, I've kept my eye a little bit on the one going on right now. The defensive backfield of the teams that have won have done a tremendous job in run support. They have been making a lot of big plays in the run game, and that's going to be big for one of these two teams here.
It is, and offensive have not been very prolific in the college football playoffs, except for a couple teams. Ole Miss scored, the points on Tulane, but Miami has won 2 games, really struggling on offense.
Yes, they may have the 2 best defensive ends in the country to do it. Speaking of that Alabama and Indiana game, Ty Simpson has been pulled by the Crimson Tide in that game, and right now Austin Mack has led Alabama inside the 10-yard line with an opportunity to score for the first time really today.
And Ty Simpson being pulled, Gary, that to baseball that we all love so much, that's your ace going out there and getting rocked after 3 2/3, isn't it?
Absolutely right. But you're at that time down 24-0 in that game.
I mean, you can't wait for him to figure it out.
You can't. You got to go ahead and do it, and unfortunately, it's happened on that very large stage.
And we are collectively having to brace ourselves. I know brands matter. And I made the example of, if you flip this, and this was basketball, and it was the national semis, and it was Indiana playing Alabama in basketball, we would all think the same thing about Indiana, his illustrious basketball history. It's just hard. But with the Heisman Trophy winner, after what they did last year, beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, undefeated, it's time to start respecting Kurt Cignetti and the Hoosiers.
It is right. We are in the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. It's a January 1 game, and it means a lot for both of these teams. But if you're an Ole Miss fan, we're going to watch a little history one way or the other here in this one. 12-1 Ole Miss, 12-1 Georgia. We'll talk more about it as our show continues after this. It's Ole Miss football from Learfield.
Vaught Hemingway Stadium, home of the Rebels, where over 64,000 voices rise to a crescendo, helping turn big plays into Mississippi mayhem. Ford trucks have an iconic tradition too, like Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 48 years straight. Drive F-150, official truck of the Rebels, only at your Mississippi Ford dealer, based on 1977 to 2024 total sales.
Sometimes a girl in my class doesn't bring anything to eat for lunch.
The truth is, in America, 1 in 5 kids worry about their next meal.
I want everybody to have yummy food.
So do we. That's why Kroger donates surplus fresh food from our shelves to your local food bank. We've provided over 3.5 billion meals through our Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan. Visit Kroger.com to see how you can help fight hunger and waste in our community.
Because nobody should have an empty tummy.
This is Rebels football on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, my name is John Merrill, the owner of Amada Senior Care. We're your local trusted advisor for senior home care. We provide experienced caregivers for your loved ones so they can remain in their home. Just like you would care for your loved ones, our employees provide assistance with their personal care needs. As your trusted senior advisor, I can help your family navigate the long-term care insurance process. Just call me, John Merrill with Amada Senior Care, for your free in-home consultation. 601-864-3752.
Ole Miss fans never settle. Neither should your home. If you've been living with doors that don't open or close, cracks, and unlevel floors at home, it's time to start living better. Foundation problems only get worse with time. Only Olshan gives you more than 90 years of experience, patented and proven repairs, and a warranty you can count on. Stop settling and start living better. Visit olshanfoundation.com and get your free evaluation today, or call us at 877-465-7426.
And we welcome you back again here in New Orleans. Gary Darby, Brett Norsworthy with you. We're going to go inside the numbers just a little bit on these two teams here today and talk a little bit more about more than just one or two players that we've been doing. And let's go. We were talking about the run game there just a little bit for Ole Miss, and I want to give you those numbers. First, from Georgia's perspective, because they held Alabama to -3 yards in what was the second lowest total ever for that. They had done Georgia Tech a similar way. Their numbers have been really good since playing Ole Miss from a defensive perspective, but the Ole Miss numbers have gotten better, too, on that defensive side.
Both are very different teams than the October meeting in Athens. Everybody recognizes the improvement of the Georgia defense under Glenn Schumann and the ultimate defensive head coach in Kirby Smart. But the Ole Miss defense has gotten better and better since that game, and it had to. And I thought Coach Pete Golding made a great point in his media, in the coaches' media availability yesterday, of Ole Miss has been in the playoffs since leaving Athens that day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one miscue, because 10-2 wasn't going to get you in.
No.
So Ole Miss has been in. They've been in playoff mode, playoff mentality, preparation since that day, since leaving Athens.
When you look, Georgia's averaging 31.9 points a game. Ole Miss at 37.3. Rushing yards, just about even between the two. 186.6 for Georgia, 188.5 for Ole Miss. Passing, much more for the Rebels. 220.3 for Georgia, 309.6 for the Rebels. 406.9 is what the Georgia offense averages per game. The Rebels 498.1. So the offensive numbers have been better all season long. You know me, I've got to throw in third down percentages where Georgia is a 45.2% as far as conversion is concerned, 76 of 168. Ole Miss, and even 74 for 161. I mean, numbers are not a lot different.
No, they're not.
There, when you look, go ahead.
Penalties.
Yeah.
and Ole Miss has had too many, and that's one thing. I just don't think you can win any game at this point of the year for any team with double-digit penalties.
And when you look defensively, 15.9% points per game is what Georgia gives up. Ole Miss, 20.1. And then you look rushing yards, 79.2 is all Georgia gives up. Ole Miss, 150.5. Passing, 205.3 for Georgia. 182.6. The Rebels are better against the pass, actually, defensively, statistics, right, from Georgia. So 284.5 for the Bulldogs, 333 for the Rebels. And third downs, Georgia allows the opponent to convert 35.1%, almost 35.8. I mean, you go back, right, the one game. 17-0 in the fourth quarter. You have played this team toe-to-toe, but for the final 15 minutes.
Yeah, and how different that game would have been, except for toward the end of the third quarter when Georgia's going for that fourth and long two.
Yeah.
And the Ole Miss front stoned them at the line of scrimmage. The Georgia player, hustle, effort, just kept digging and got it. They go on and start the fourth quarter, and they score. If Ole Miss gets that stop, that's starting the fourth quarter on the Georgia about 45 or so, midfield even. We go down and score in 3 plays and are up 16. That may not have been enough to hang on with how prolific Georgia was in that fourth quarter. But I sure would like to see how that would have finished and what would have been the crowd response. Would they have rallied them as much as they did?
And the big thing today we'll look for is explosive plays. In the game between these two, Georgia had 9 explosive plays, 4 runs, 5 passes, and of course it's a certain amount of yardage, right, that you got to get there. Ole Miss had 5 in the game, and of course the fourth quarter was just the difference in the way it was. You got to stop those big plays.
Got to stop those big plays, and we got to see the Georgia punter actually make an appearance and play football against Ole Miss, because we never saw him in Athens.
Did not. So now a little look into those numbers for you here today in New Orleans with the Rebels and the Dogs getting ready to.
It's very impressive. Just the way he's been able to multitask and, hold this team together for this run, but also put a staff, start putting a staff together for the future. And it's just been awesome. And so, it's very deserving for him. And it's been fun to work with him here over the last, 2 or 3 weeks. And, that game on Saturday, just seeing, the crowd embrace him and all that is just really, really cool.
I love his intensity. I don't know if it's defense, offense, or the mindset, but I like the intensity. To me, that's what sports, particularly college sports, is about, intensity and emotion.
It is. And what you love about Pete is what you see is what you get.
You better believe it.
And so we love that. And, he's a football coach. But I've been super impressed, just the way he's handled media, the way he's, done a lot of things. When you go from that defensive coordinator role to the CEO of the program, there's a lot that comes with that. And he's done an awesome job here, really on the fly over the past 3 weeks. So impressed with that and super excited about what we can do here tonight and on this run, but obviously about the future as well.
And last thing, because I know you have other things you've got to go to, you've been that student athlete, and it's been an interesting few weeks, months for the student athletes that wear the Ole Miss uniform and come out. They have done nothing but handle it in a professional manner themselves.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about that on the ride over here. We have such a unique group this year, very mature group. We have really good kids, good young men, and it's been awesome. All the distractions, you can say that they weren't swirling and all those things, but these players are on social media. They see it more than we do, but man, they've done an incredible job of just locking in and winning these games and doing it the right way. So I don't expect anything else tonight.
Well, enjoyed this one. I hope we enjoy talking about it maybe later on today. If not, see you in Norman, Oklahoma.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Buddy. All right, that's our director of athletics, Keith Carter. In fact, he's doing this here. He's just talking about all that they've got to do, right? So he's here, and yes, he will be in Norman for the SEC opener with Ole Miss basketball in Oklahoma. Then he's going to Austin, Texas for the Ole Miss women's opener against Texas, and then hopefully we're in Glendale, Arizona right after that.
That's an AD that supports every program, every student athlete. As he has said before, he wants them leaving Ole Miss with a diploma in one hand and a championship ring on the other.
And we're doing a good job in getting some of those done, and we are 90 minutes away from taking one more step towards that in football. Our show continues, and we thank Keith all year long for being with us and giving us some time at some point in one of our pregame shows. It's Ole Miss football from Learfield.
Hey, Rebel fans. For more than 50 years, Mississippi Asthma and Allergies board-certified team of allergists has treated patients by identifying triggers and creating personalized treatment plans. Now, with 8 convenient locations across Mississippi, including Oxford, we're right next door when you need us. Treating infants to adults and Ole Miss students. Find our clinic nearest you at msaac.com. Mississippi Asthma and Allergy, helping Mississippi live life to the fullest and allergy-free.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check Kirk Herbstreit's pregame analysis first, before talking to your brother-in-law.
In this game, the key thing to watch will be the offensive line versus the front seven. If they can get pressure without blitzing, this could be a long night.
Okay, Kirk.
I know stuff.
Ooh, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
In the end zone, touchdown!
Ole Miss, Georgia. This is the College Football Playoff on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Trustmark Bank.
At Methodist Rehabilitation Center, our method is compassion.
I felt supported through my entire physical recovery.
Our method is determination.
After my stroke, they were with me through every step.
Our method is expertise.
We serve patients from all 82 Mississippi counties with personalized care.
For 50 years, our method has been to celebrate every step of your physical or neurological recovery. Choose the proven method at methodistonline.org.
Hey guys, this is Schaefer Davidson and my wife Lori, owners of Davidson Marble and Granite of Canton, Vicksburg, and McGee. We also have Davidson Monument Company of Forest and Kosciuszko, as well as Central Mississippi Monument Company of Carthage and Louisville.
We offer a variety of granite, marble, and bronze headstones. We are back to pre-pandemic lead times with gray granite running approximately 2 to 3 months.
We are a third-generation family-owned business serving Mississippi since 1937. Check us out on Facebook or at davidsonmarbleandgranite.com.
Army and Brett Norsworthy at a higher level inside the Caesars Superdome than our next two guests as well. Backfield level we go. It's the voice of the Rebels, David Kellerman, our All-American Harry Harrison. Hello, gentlemen.
Well, I'm an All-American, too.
You are. You are a Hall of Famer.
I'm a Hall of Famer, that's right. But I didn't run up and down the field not getting interceptions like Harry. Good to be with you guys.
Man, this has been electric for 3 or 4 days, and it's going to be culminated tonight with a great game against an old foe called the Georgia Bulldogs. Can't wait.
It will be, David, and Harry, it does feel electric, and you just feel the sense of Ole Miss is setting on a historical football powder keg for us to be in this position. Usually when the bowl game's over, everybody heads home and talks about how great it is to not win this one. We head home and get ready for Phoenix.
Yeah, you can be in all the bowls these days, can't you?
True.
Yeah, and there's excitement here on the field for sure. There's a lot of step, if you will. Giddy up into step, I guess is the right way to put it. Pete's going to be out here in a moment. We'll get the interview with him here in a second, too, but some of the kickers out and all. And I just think there's a real confident air about Ole Miss. You never know how the game's going to go. These are two really good football teams about to play each other.
Well, they are, David, and obviously Georgia likes to pound you. Just, they're going to rotate about 3 backs at you, all 220, 230, and they want to continue to pound you, run the football, play action when they need to, and try to wear you down to that fourth quarter. That's pretty much what happened to us in Athens several weeks ago. We talked about that earlier, that our defensive line just didn't make fits like they wanted, like they should have. They were able to point out those deficiencies later on and getting ready for this game. But we're going to have to man up on that defensive front and take the rush to them and make them punt. I mean, I screamed for just one punt in Athens, never got it, but tonight's going to be different.
Yeah, I think, Harry, we got to stop them at the line of scrimmage, but have to put pressure on Gunnar Stockton and not let him, kind of play backyard football.
Well, that's exactly right, Stats. He likes to break and run. He's not going to stand. He's not one of those typical, pocket passers that's going to stand there and survey the field. He doesn't get that first or second progression. He's going to take off and run, and he gets you out of that third and long by doing that. He did that over, against us in Athens, and tonight we've got to get him in some third and longs, but we got to get him off the field, and that's I would say that'd be the biggest key on defense for sure going into this game.
Looking at all the rest of the games, including the one right now where Indiana is leading Alabama 31-3.
Wow.
The team, Miami jumped out hot. You saw against this one. Indiana started out hot. The first game, you got to get that good start to the game, DK. Win it, whatever it is. If Ole Miss has the football first, get down, get that score, and try and get that momentum early.
Yeah, we were just talking about that a moment ago. We jumped out on Tulane 14-0, and that really kind of set the tone for the game. So you would love to be able to do that. And no disrespect to Tulane, but this Georgia team has been much more difficult to do that against. And I've heard some of the national folks just kind of talk and said, hey, the winner of this one may win it all. And you don't even want to think that way. But it is that kind of a match. As far as the SEC SEC goes, and nothing against Alabama. Alabama's a great football team. Because of the tiebreaker, Ole Miss didn't make it, but we finished in a 4-way tie in the regular season as basically regular season champs in the SEC. And so you could have easily, if the tiebreaker been a little bit differently, had Ole Miss and Georgia in the SEC championship game. So we didn't get it then. We're getting it now.
Great point.
Higher stakes, but this should be a heck of a game. We know all the Georgia radio crew. We're best friends. We've known them for years and years. We both want to beat each other's guts, but there's a lot of familiarity when you get two SEC teams going against each other.
These are the best two teams in the SEC. The playoffs are playing out, improving that. Okay, so we didn't play them in Atlanta in the SEC championship game, but the winner of this one, it's the team to beat the rest of the way, and I think it's Ole Miss, David.
Well, Stats, we're all expecting that to be the truth. Yeah. But after tonight, there's only going to be one SEC team standing, and it better be the Rebels when we get done here.
Harry, and watching these games, too, and you talked about the quarterback running of Georgia and what he can do with his feet. And I know we better guard a tight end in this game. Didn't do it in that one.
All five of them for Georgia.
In Athens. But one of the things I've noticed in those other games, too, is the defensive backs with run support. And it has been really good with the teams that have won. Ole Miss has to have that today also.
Well, we do, and we've got two healthy corners. We've got, Braxton is now playing the corner position, and of course, Kite, has been nursing that hamstring now for several weeks. But he's back, I think, at 100% or very, very close to it. My key tonight is who's going to cover that slot receiver, Zachariah Branch. Yeah. He's above 70 receptions on the season. Real quick, real speedy, make you miss in space. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets to pull that cord tonight to be able to cover him.
Harry, back there in your area of expertise, the defensive secondary, Wyatt Williams good to go?
He's good to go. Yeah, he was in an interview before we left Oxford last week, maybe on Saturday, I believe it was. But he's good to go. Everybody's going to be healthy, including Lacey and Kite, and everybody should be good to go.
David, you got the pipes ready?
I got the pipes ready, baby. I heard you talk about all the things you've called here. I have too.
Yeah.
In this Superdome, not just football, but basketball and the Winn-Dixie Showdown in baseball.
Where was home plate?
It was, I think, over in this corner, wasn't it, G-Dar?
Yeah,
somewhere
right.
Over here?
Yeah.
All I know is down the left field line, like you mentioned earlier, was 250, and everybody was trying to pull it. Everybody. But it's a historic place, and sure you can't help but think about Katrina and the damage that happened here. And then you think about the career of Archie Manning and all, and the love that a lot of Ole Miss fans have for the Saints and have for years and years.
And for Deuce McAllister.
Deuce McAllister, I was headed there next, and what an incredible career he had, and not only.
Sugar Bowl is always awesome. The venue, the dome's a great environment. The city's a fun place to come play football in. So really proud of our kids creating that opportunity for themselves. And I think the preparation has been where it should be. So hopefully we'll put a good product on the field. Practice has been pretty good since Tulane. Yeah, I think they still want to play. And I think that's the biggest thing, this part of the year. The excitement is going to be there. You're playing in a playoff. You're playing in a Sugar Bowl. But we got to turn that excitement into execution, And I think a lot of that's based on your preparation and how you practice and how you pay attention to meetings and walkthroughs and all that. So I think the prep has been there. Now we just got to go out and do it.
The first game, I know in a lot of ways, a lot of things have changed. Both teams gotten better, yada, yada. But that is a benchmark where we have actually played this team. Just your thoughts on what you've taken from that first game that maybe help us in this one.
Yeah, obviously we watched the tape again and we went back through the corrections, what were issues and why we lost the game more importantly. And then, what I show them is things that we did throughout the week, same play, same call, happened in the game and we didn't execute it and why. And going back and clean those up. Because it's the same team last year, right? With a lot of the same calls with a different result. And so that was the big difference. Understand we're not scared of them, right? We got to execute. We got to strike blocks. We got to take the ball away. We got to protect the ball on offense. Continue to be explosive on offense, but run the ball when we need to. But from a defensive standpoint, there's enough on there that we did to ourselves. They've got good enough players that they're going to make plays at times, and we know that. We can't help them. We got to contest plays. We got to be more physical up front, and we got to do a better job leveraging the ball on the perimeter. And at the end of the day, we got to get these guys on the ground in space. Harry?
Well, you just covered a lot of the keys I was going to ask you about, but obviously
when you look at the last game, the one thing about tonight is you got to get stops. I mean, there was no punts in that game. Those guys either scored or kicked a field goal each and every time. So a lot of that was we weren't fitting gaps properly, and I think that's what you just discussed. But to kind of cover that a little bit more, we got a man up front. Our guys have grown up. They were younger then. They've now grown up to be real men.
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I mean, I think you got to create negative yardage plays on base downs. You know, there's only really 3 third and longs in the whole game, and a lot of that's a byproduct of what you're doing on first and second down. And so when you're not leveraging the ball on the perimeter and you're not striking blocks up front, we got to do a better job rotating guys up front. But especially late in the game, we got really tired, didn't play with the same effort. And then, you know, we call them layups. I mean, when you have the opportunity to make the play, we call a double edge in the zone, where you got to make the damn play. You know, because there's enough times they're going to go up and make the play, and they're going to out-scheme us and have a good play call versus a good call. So we got to make our layups, but we got to be more physical up front. Got to do a great job of communication. Got to tackle really well. We had double-digit missed tackles the first time we played them.
Gunner Stockton not go stand in the pocket long. If we give him those rush lanes, he's going to take them, and obviously we can't do that tonight.
Absolutely, and that's the big thing. They kind of make you do at times, because with a screen game, you want to get body on body and play some man, but you got to have eyes for him. And his biggest thing is on base downs. Everybody's got a plan for him on third down. We didn't get him to a lot of third downs last time we played him, but, you know, on base downs, how can he not extend plays? When you look back at that game we played him the first time, the ability to extend plays and keep his eyes downfield, right, a lot of those pass yards came from a scramble standpoint and breaking routes off and doing all those things, and then obviously the ability for him to tuck it and run. So controlling the pocket and having eyes for him is going to be really important.
I tell you one thing, Kirby probably wasn't real happy as a defensive guy what we did to them in game 1, too. Scored 5 touchdowns the first 5 possessions.
Well, I think you were saying they won the game, so they scored more than we did. But no, yeah, obviously we both had a lot to clean up, and hopefully at least we play better on our side, tonight.
Well, I was going to say, in the first game, our wide receiver room really outplayed their DBs, and I thought that was a huge effort in that game. We're going to have that same type of effort tonight to make some big plays and get it down the field.
Yeah, I think on both sides you're going to see one-on-one matchups. I mean, what both of us do offensively at times, you're going to contest plays, and I think it's about winning your one-on-ones, not only at receiver, at back, up front from a defensive perspective. So, when you get in these playoffs, you play really good teams, you got to win your one-on-one, and we got to win more of them than they do, and we got to change the picture and get other guys involved in all those things. But it comes down to players make plays.
Hey, in closing, you got some help in the stands. We got some Rebel peeps here in New Orleans.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome to see them come in. I was a little late. Most of them got here yesterday, but we always travel well. But I think there's something different about this place.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Good luck to you.
Pete Golding, the head coach of the Ole Miss Rebels. We got the Rebels and the Bulldogs coming up. Our exclusive live pregame interview with the Rebels head coach Pete Golding is brought to you by Coca-Cola, passionate fans, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy Coca-Cola. We'll take a break and send it back to Brett Norsworthy, and Gary Darby is there in the booth doing the pregame show on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Vaught Hemingway Stadium, home of the Rebels, where over 64,000 voices rise to a crescendo, helping turn big plays into Mississippi mayhem. Ford trucks have an iconic tradition too, like Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 48 years straight. Drive F-150, official truck of the Rebels, only at your Mississippi Ford dealer, based on 1977 and 2024 total sales.
You're listening to Ole Miss Football on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield.
When love requires a gift, nothing says it better than Albritton's. Since 1920, we've been part of your family. From weddings and anniversaries to holidays, we've been there for every special occasion. At Albritton's, we value your trust. Every gift, whether large or small, is a reflection of our commitment to quality and excellence. There's a reason we're still Mississippi's foremost diamond merchant. Let us show you why. Albritton's Jewelry, 4460 Old Canton Road in Jackson.
Albritton's Jewelers.
Hey guys, this is Schaefer Davidson and my wife Lori, owners of Davidson Marble and Granite of Canton, Vicksburg, and McGee. We also have Davidson Monument Company of Forest and Kosciuszko, as well as Central Mississippi Monument Company of Carthage and Louisville.
We offer a variety of granite, marble, and bronze headstones. We are back to pre-pandemic lead times with gray granite running approximately.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.